This is the Canyon Endurace CFSL 8.0. The CFSL stands for Carbon Fiber Superlight. And if you're like me, you are going back and forth on whether you should get the Ultimate or the Endurace. And so this is a review of the Endurace and why I chose it over the Ultimate. In short, the Endurace is a race-inspired endurance bike. It took me a while to notice that there's no N in the model name. It's called Endurace, not Endurance. And so the bikes are really quite similar in terms of many characteristics, including the weight. That's a good place to start. The Ultimate, I think in the medium, was a 7.5 kilograms, and the Endurace is a 7.6 kilograms, so it's a 0.1 difference. This is the large model, and it weighs about 17.5 pounds with the pedals and bottle cage. So really, it's quite light. It's really quite light bike. I have a gravel bike, a mountain bike, I have a BMX bike, I have quite a few bikes, a fat bike, and this is by far the lightest bike I own. Difference in geometry, of course you'll see this top tube angles back towards the seat tube, and on the Ultimate the seat tube is a little bit higher, so the angle of the top tube will be a little bit more aggressive. So really, if you're talking about racing bikes versus just a bike you're taking out on group rides or doing longer rides, will you notice a difference? Well, yes, an aggressive geometry, you'll be more aerodynamic. But if you want to race this thing, you'll be able to race it. If you want to maximize your watts, use this bike and just go to the gym. Get more powerful. Use it as a badge of honor. Beat people on race bikes. The Ultimate, ultimately, to use a pun, you're not going to go wrong choosing either of these bikes. But in the end, at the end of the day, if your bike's not comfortable, why ride it? And then also, I wanted to be able to go over large bumps, a little bit of gravel riding, and not feel cautious of perhaps damaging the bike or damaging my lower back. This bike will take you anywhere you need to go. And then another difference between the Ultimate and the Endurace are the wheels. On the Endurace, you get the DT Swiss E1800s, and on the Ultimate, you get the DT Swiss PR 1600s. So there's probably a bit of a weight gain there on the Endurace. And then on the Endurace, you get this seat post. This is something I might change out eventually. It just dampens the ride. People have suggested that it feels like you have a flat tire when you're not used to it. I haven't yet felt that, but we'll see how that goes. And then aesthetically, the bikes are almost identical too if you get the Stealth Black. If you've never seen a Canyon up close, there's some things that you don't get to see online really. The gray on the top, I was curious if it carried over the top of the top tube, and it doesn't. It's just on the edges, which is a nice touch. But all told, the bike is, I guess, well, it's in the name, it's called Stealth. It's a little bit on the bland side in terms of color, so I ordered a new decal set to add some color on the logo, and then also a sticker for the fork. The disc brakes are interesting with these heat deflectors. It took some getting used to, but now I actually like it. It's a pretty cool look. And then this lever is interesting. It is difficult to get off, but you can actually pull it off of the through axle and throw it in your pocket. So you'll notice that there's only one of them. It comes with just one. So if you have to take the wheels off, you just sort of pull that thing off really hard and put it on the other wheel. The one thing that was interesting too is the seat clamp back here. There's actually a hidden hole for it. You pull this little piece of rubber off and stick an Allen in there. That was interesting. So this is all pretty clean, this integrated seat clamp. This comes with the Ultega group set. So does the Ultimate in the same model level. And finally, I guess these tires. No complaints with the tires really. These are the Continental 4000s. Both bikes come with these. On the Endurace, they're 28 millimeters, whereas on the Ultimate, they're 25 millimeters. And most of my research on the tires in general, the suggestion is that when you can go larger, there's very little difference between 25 millimeter and 28 millimeter when it comes to aerodynamics and speed. So I'm really enjoying those tires. And that is the Endurace. So if you had to choose between an Endurace and an Ultimate, I would make the same decision. You save $100 and you get pretty much the same bike with the exception of the geometry. And so you can still tuck on this thing, you could still race it, and if anything, get it and beat people that are on race bikes just to prove a point. This is a great bike, and at the end of the day, you will not be upset if you pull the trigger on it. Thanks.